Hello everyone, my name is Harsh and a very warm welcome to all of you in this AI assistant app in Flutter. And in the last video, I just gave you a little bit of intro of AppWrite, and in this video, as we discussed, we are going to cover regarding connection to the AppWrite and document fetching. So this is the package that we used in the last video, and actually we used that package as a custom package in our application rather than directly adding into our pubspec.yml because it was giving some error. Now we are gonna work with AppWrite. Actually we have created a file name called as AppWrite, and we can just close this prospect.yml as well. Now before moving to our codes, first we need to create a project in AppWrite to which we can connect. So to create a project we need to go to the AppWrite website. So this is generally the first page you get when you log in. If you don't get, you can click on this logo and it will move you to this page. Now there are some informations like members of the project as well as usage, some billing quotas and stuff. Now what I'm interested in creating a new project, so you can click on this symbol to create a new project, and you can give a name to the project simply like AI assistant in my case. And after that you need to select a region of the project, and there are multiple options. So currently only Frankfurt is available in my case, but in your case maybe in future there will be more options. So simply for now I'm selecting this one and just click on the create, and it will start creating the project for us. And you will see the project is created and I have already moved to the project. Now here is some configurations that we need to do in our application. So before that, we have a project ID here. You can simply copy it and move to our codes. We will do it bit later. So for now we need to add our Flutter app. So click on this Flutter and you will see multiple options. So actually I'm just going to do it for the Android. If you want to do it for the any another platform, you can just follow the steps and do it. So for Android, just select Android, give the name to the application AI assistant, and we also need to give the package name. The same implies for the iOS. We need to specify the bundle ID. In our case the both will be same, so simply just move to our project and then we can just go to Android and then this build.gradle here, and after that I think this below one, not this one. Okay, so inside this app build.gradle, so this is that build.gradle and we have a namespace or a package name here. So we just need to copy this package name, and if you are looking for just iOS case, just for the case, you can go to iOS. You can click on this runner, and after that you will see info.plist, but it is not containing that bundle name. So just go to this runner.xcode and you will see a project px something version. So simply here I just got that option, product bundle identifier, that is our package name in case of iOS. So this one you can use it simply, but in our case I'm just dealing with Android, so I will just paste the Android package name and simply click on next, and you will see a guide to use the SDK. So simply import the dependency. So we have already done it, so we can click on next. Now it is already provided as the app's ID here, so we can directly copy and use it rather than copying it from there and just moving to the next. And we can click on this skip the steps for now, and you will see we are able to see a dashboard of our project like usage, requests. And if we just move below inside these platforms, we can see a single platform is added here, which is Android, that we added just now. And now we can just move above and copy this ID if we wish, or we have already copied the codes. So I can just close all this stuff, and simply inside our AppWrite, inside this function init, I will just uncomment this and we can just paste these codes here, okay, like this. And I can remove this AppWrite import and simply control save. So what we are doing is we are creating an instance of client, and then we are setting the endpoint of the AppWrite cloud. Currently it's version 1, so that's why it's like this. In future it may change to v2, v3, and depending upon it. Then we are setting our project ID. You can copy it from here if you wish, and then there is an option to set a self-signed certificate. So by chance if you are using it for development purpose, you can ignore the certification stuff, so that's why it is used here. So for now let it be. And what I will do is I will create a static variable of this client because I need to use it multiple times rather than just once. So what I will do is I will write static and I can remove this client and I can simply write final, so it will be created only once. And since I will be using only inside this class, I can just make it private though, so simply underscore, and now simply press Ctrl save. Now we can just call this init function to initialize AppWrite. So inside our main, just after this pref.initialize hive, I can call this. So simply AppWrite, since we named it like that, and we need to import AppWrite dot init, and you will see no option is showing here, so we need to make this function static as well. So simply static and like this, and now you can see the error is gone. So for AppWrite initialization, and now moving to our AppWrite instance, actually we need to access this database from here. So first we need to create a database, and there are many more options that you will see here, but we are mainly interested in this database because we just want to fetch some data. So I will click on this create database, and if you don't know how to use it, you can go to documentation and check it out, but for now I will just click on this create database, and I can name anything I like my database, and here is the ID of database. So actually it by default uses a random ID, but I just want to use the name of the database as its ID. So just my database and click on create. Now a database has been created. So if you go back, you will see a database, and if you just want to delete it though, so for now I just want to work with it, so simply click on this my database and you will move into site this. Now there are collections. So AppWrite works on the concept of database and collection. There will be a database. Inside that database you can have multiple collection, and inside each collection you can have multiple documents. So actually we need to create collection and document as well to access this. And if you want to understand this concept a bit more clear, there is a video in the description, you can check it out. Now moving, we can create a collection and we can give any name to the collection, and I just named it to API key, and same I have given the ID to API key, so it will be a bit easier for me to remember. Okay, now you can just go back and you will see a collection is created with the ID, API key and name. So I can click on this API key. Now you will see there is no option to create a document. Now how we are gonna do that? Actually in AppWrite, you have to define the schema or the structure of document before creating it. In Firebase, you can directly create the document without mentioning schema or structure, but in AppWrite, it is kind of a table based, like you have to create a structure, like a particular thing will have a name, a age and a email ID or any another field before even creating it. So we need to create an attribute structure. So how to do that? So you can click on this attributes here, and here we can create that attribute structure. So it says what your attribute structure will contain. So there are multiple options like IP address, URL, email, but we just want a string because we just having a API key. So click on this string, and since we just give to name to the key of the attribute API and simply key, okay, it's just a name to the attribute. And after that you need to mention a size. For example, how much will be the size of the API key? So I think the ChatGPT's API key is somewhat big like this. So for safety basis, I'm just using the size of 100. Okay, I think 100 will be more than sufficient. And is that field required? Yes, it is a required field. You need to specify the value of it while creating this attribute. Okay, now just move below and we can just click on this create. We can ignore this array attribute for now. So click on the create and you will see a attribute structure is created. If you wish, you can add more, and if you wish, you can delete them as well. Now moving to the document, now we can create a document. So click on the create document, and after that it is saying for API key what will be the value. Okay, so the value will be, in our case, actually I just moved to my project though. Okay, and we have inside the globals, so I think this value is around 51 characters, so it's okay. So I can just move to the project and paste it here, and after that I can just simply click on the save button. Now it is showing me the permissions. So this is quite an important thing, because if you want to access the document you need to modify the permission. So for now just create. Okay, so document is created and this is the ID of the document, and actually I don't want it ID to be like this. So I am just gonna delete this document, okay, and I will recreate it. So simply delete, create document, paste the API key and click on this edit document, and I will call it chat GPT key, okay, and after that click on next. So this will be the ID of my document, and now the document is created with this chat GPT key ID. Now how to access this document, but before that we need to go to settings to update the permission of the document. So settings, and here we can specify who can access this document. So I can click on this plus, and there are many options, like you can select the users which are authenticated, some guest users, a particular team of members, but for now I will use any means anybody can access this document. Now what anybody can do, anybody can read this document, they cannot create it, they cannot update it or delete it, simply read. So click on update, so anybody will be able to read the document. Now moving to the documents, now we need to access this document. So how we do, so we will go databases, my database, API key, and then this final document. So move to our project and we will create a function to access it. So simply inside this I will create a function. Now I need to return that API key here. So actually I will wrap it around try catch because the error happens much frequently in AppWrite. So simply I can use a log here, by chance some error occurs, so in that case simply a $e, which means whatever error happens just print it out. And if error occurs I will return an empty string, which means no API key. And actually I need to convert this function into async here if this error has to be gone, and I need to return some key value here. So how we can do that, so we need to access this document. So to access a document in AppWrite we need to create an instance of database here. So I will simply create an instance of database here, so database, and after that I just need to write database, and inside this database it accepts this client. So we need to pass this client instance here, okay, and after that we can access it. So simply we can write database dot, and you will see many options, like you can create a document, you can delete a document, you can get all the documents, or you can get a specific document. So we require a specific document, and we need to mention the database ID, and in our case database ID is my database, collection ID is API key, and document ID is ChatGPT key. Okay, simply the structure that we created here, my database, API key, and ChatGPT key. Now we just need to get this value like called as API key, okay, like this. And now once we get the document here I can just store it like this D, and simply like this, and I need to call an await keyword here, okay, and simply d dot, and inside this data we get all the data, and it also include many fields like database ID, the document creation time, the permissions, and so many things. I don't require them, okay, for now. So simply I will log the data here, d and dot data, and actually okay like this to string, I'm just logging it out here, and after that I will return that data value. So how we can return that, so d dot data, and since it is a map we can write it like API key, okay, just the name that we have given to this API key. And for now let it be, and control save. So I will just call this function once inside this init, so like this get API key, and for now control save just for a demonstration purpose. So let me run my app first. Now you will see the application is up and running, and I'm just waiting for the initialization of AppWrite. So you will see data false, and okay, you can see the API key we are able to fetch. So it happens in kind of milliseconds, okay, so we are able to fetch that key, and we are even able to return that key, okay. If we wish we can print that key specifically rather than the whole data. So I can just copy it out and I can just paste that key. Now we need to update that key, so I just want to update that key in this API key, so it will be updated in all the necessary places. So what I will do is, rather than making it const, I can just create it as a string, and then after that inside my AppWrite I can access that variable called as API key, and I just simply need to import it from my globals is equals to, and then whatever the API key is. So actually I can just write it like this though, just cut it from here, paste it here, and just move this down, and then I can print the API key directly. And after that I can just return this API key if somebody wants to use it after the function call. Okay, and just a colon here and control save. Now if I just rerun my app, you will see that API key is printed here, and we are able to fetch it from our AppWrite database, and now we can normally use the app. Simply the thing is, this API key is no more static. It will be fetched from our AppWrite and it will be updated. And if you wish, you can remove the static key from here, so it will kind of protect our data from breaching. Okay, because we are fetching it from the database, not keeping in our app. So with this, we are able to use AppWrite in our application, and mainly we have covered all the functionalities of this application. So if you want any further functionality in this application, just let me know. I will wait for some time for your responses. Okay, and then depending upon it, I will decide whether the course should be ended or some more videos can be made. Okay, so that's it for this video. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.